so today is last day of this unit. You have till Wednesday to take your test. Lab notebooks are due by next time, which is Wednesday, and we'll be starting the next unit. So make sure that you get that test taken. We did do a tutorial for review on Friday on the test, or for the test, so if you weren't here, I did put it up here for you. It's in, but if you just come up, if you come in, here's home. This is what you see. So if you go down in chapter 6, State That's a Matter, it's in here. All the assignments, all the videos, everything. Yep. Come on. There we go. And we're down here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go through the lab with you really quickly. It is a very fast lab. As far as what you need to do and what needs to be done, we'll go through a little bit of the calculations and pre-lab that you need to do. But when you get your lab ready, it's basically waiting for water to boil before you can do anything. So you're going to use that time to work on your pre-lab, get it stamped off, then finish the lab, and come back in here and finish the post-lab. And it's fairly quick. So it's on specific heat. So the first thing you do when you go back there is you're going to get a hot plate. You're going to turn it on high for the heat. Okay, you're going to get a beaker full of distilled water, a 600 milliliter beaker, and to fill it you're going to need about 500 milliliters of water. Okay, just sit there for a sec. Once you get that going, okay, that's the big thing. You've got to get it heating really quickly because that's going to take the longest amount of time. You're going to have a box of specific heat metals, and in there are 5 metals, so 2 groups can share one if you'd like. There is aluminum, tin, and tin is sort of a silvery gold tint to it, so there's 3 that are about the same that are silver, but one's a silvery gold, that's tin, one's a silver, and that's steel, and one's a sort of a blue silver, and that's zinc. Okay. And then you have aluminum. Aluminum is taller than all the others. So you pick 2 of them. It doesn't matter which 2, and you're going to weigh them. Okay, so you're going to put them on a scale, and you're going to weigh them. Once you've weighed them, you're going to put them into the beaker. Now you've got to be careful when you put it in, because if you just drop them in, it's going to break the beaker. So they are little cylinders like this, and they have a little knobby on the top. You're going to use one of those triangle-looking tongs to grab that little knobby on the top. Okay? And you're going to carefully set those down in here. So you're going to have 2 of them heating up down here with the water. Once you get that done, then the next thing you need to set up is you need to take and weigh a styrofoam cup, and it'll be a big one. They're taller than the ones we did last time because we're going to use more water in there. You're going to weigh it. You're going to put into it distilled water about 100 milliliters, and you're going to weigh it again. So the mass of the water should be about 100 grams. Okay? Once you've got that, you're going to put it into a beaker so it doesn't tip over, and you're going to go get yourself a thermometer, temperature probe, Easy Link, calculator, and you're going to watch the temperature of your hot water get hot. Okay? Not really. You're just going to let it go, and you're going to work on the pre-lab. Make sure that the wires don't touch the hot plate, though, because they will melt. Okay? Once you're working on your pre-lab, and this starts to boil, and I want it to be a rolling boil, okay? Then you're going to take the temperature probe out, and you're going to put it under the faucet, and you're going to let water run on it till it cools down. Okay, so it needs to get back down about 18, 20 degrees. Then you'll put it in here and get the initial temperature of the water in the styrofoam cup. Okay, this is on your second page, actually third page, where it has this mass stuff here going on. So everything up until number 5 is going, well, the number 1, the mass of the metal is going to be different, and the identity is going to be different. But 2 through 6 are going to be the same in both on both columns. When you get to number 6, though, you're going to put on the first sample size this first temperature. Then you're going to take one of these with the tongs again, and you're going to take that and put it down in here. Okay? And you're going to stir with the temperature probe and get the highest temperature it will go to. Then you're going to write it down on number 7. And then in the second column, you're going to write that same number down in number 6. So what ends with the first column sample is going to be your beginning temperature for your second column. Don't take anything out. Grab the second one and put it down in here. So you have 2 metals in there. Get the highest temperature it goes the second time. Once you've got the highest temperature it goes the second time, you filled in number 7 on both of them. You dump it out, dry off the metals, we'll put everything away. Once you get everything put away except for the hot plate, you'll take the beaker tongs. These are the big tongs that have they look like that. Okay, they have the plastic around them. You're going to take those big tongs, use the beaker, get it down off the hot plate, because if you don't, it's going to boil off and then crack the glass. And just set it off to the side. But everything else we're going to put away. Okay, and then we'll go stamp and you come back in here. Everybody okay with what you need to do in lab? Sort of, and I'll be there with you. Okay, so let's look at number 5 on your pre-lab, which would be the first of this one that you picked at the back that looks like this. But you'll need the first page of your other one, wherever it is. I'm going to hold yours up, sorry. So you'll need to be looking at the first page of this one and the first page of this one. Okay? So what we're basically going to do is we're going to be using this equation throughout today. So Q is the amount of energy or amount of heat that's given off. M is the mass, Cp is the specific heat, and delta T is the change in temperature. So for number 5 on your pre-lab, what you're going to do is you're going to say the mass of the metal, Cp of the metal, and this is about halfway down on the on your front page. You can see this going across. Delta T of the metal, do you see where I'm at? Is equal to mass of the water, Cp of the water, and delta T of the water. Did everybody see that all the way down? About halfway down on the front page. You see it? Okay, so on this one, for number 5, you are going to solve for the change in temperature of the water. Okay, so it would be smart just to read the problem, number 5, and start putting stuff in. So for the first one, the mass of the metal is what? 14.23 grams, right? Something like that. The Cp of the metal, what metal do I have? What metal? Copper. On the front page of the one, there's a grid that says the copper Cp. What's the copper Cp? 385 joules per gram Kelvin, right? Then the change in the temperature. You have 2 temperatures back there. Metal started at 55 point something, right? 58.32? 58.32, and it went down to 30 point what? 52. That's degrees Celsius. Then you've got the mass of the water. The mass of the water is 500, right? So we're going to put 500 grams. The Cp of the water is in the first paragraph on that first page. And underneath pre-lab stuff, what does it say? 4.184, good. Joules per gram, degrees Celsius. It can be Kelvin because Kelvin and Celsius are the same. And then we're solving for delta T. I ran out of room. You're going to solve this for delta T. Okay, so I'm going to find delta T of the water. And if I look on number 5, at the very end of that, I said delta T of the water is equal to T final minus T initial. So once you find this number right here is your 30.52 minus Ti, and you're going to solve for Ti. Okay? You do not divide. It's add or subtract from each side on this bottom one. I've had a lot of kids try to divide. These are not divided when you get down to here. You're going to have a number here that you found from up here that is your TW, and you're just going to subtract and get Ti on one side by itself. okay? And you'll have a negative TI, and you'll have a negative number, divide both sides, or times both sides by -1, and you got it, okay? So we're going to go back and get that started. That gives you a hint on number 5. Once you've got your pre-lab done, make sure you get a stamp. Once you get it cleaned up, make sure you get a stamp. Come back in here, finish up the lab. Finish up the lab from last time. Share the graphs if you need to. Do whatever you need to. Lab notebooks do next time, or today if you get them done. So the packet, there's 2 packets, right, that you picked up. One is double-sided. That's the one that they copied for me first. So you don't want to use the back side of the double-sided one. That's that other packet, the back side. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'm going to show up Aubrey's. So this one right here is double-sided. This one is this right here. Okay? You need both of them in there. Yeah. Just don't write on the back of any page. Does that make sense? Only write on the front. You'll be good. Okay. Next time we're starting a new unit. Okay. Let's go. Goggles.